Alright. Alright, we're live. Oh. So. Yeah. So joining me today on Let's Roll Dungeon Talk is of course myself. I'm kinda here. DM for Let's Roll, live table, the hands that you see creating when we do our crafting. Also joining me over here is Becky.
Hey.
Everybody knows Becky's voice. She's our normal resident murder hobo. Player on almost every one of the games. I would tell you which character she's playing right now, but every single one that she's had is either dead or no longer playing.
I am not dead right now.
Name a game that you're not dead.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dewdrop's not dead.
just stone most of the time.
Stone or stoned?
Yes.
A bit of both.
And then down below we have Devon, who also dies a lot, but not so much a murder hobo. He plays characters that don't kill anything.
Oh my god, that's so accurate.
I do kill things. Slowly.
My hopes are not things. Then beside him is going to be Josh. He is going to be he's going to be DMing Monday's online games, and he also played Torrent.
Yes.
So, and those of you that have seen this, you've seen. Sorry, I just ate a sandwich, and now there's crumbs everywhere, and I'm dying inside. Oh my god.
What kind of sandwich was it?
It was bad. It's just bad.
Don't tell me it was. Don't tell me it was the truck stop one again.
No. 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 So we are talking about classes. D&D 5e. Classes. So let's go over some of the classes real quick. And then we'll make our decisions. 12, 13, 14 classes in D&D?
13, and then, Critical Role has its own.
I'm calling, at this point, I'm calling the Blood Hunter a class.
Okay.
Because it's pretty... Huh?
I thought there was only 12.
13.
What am I missing?
So, let's go over the list real quick. In alphabetical order, you have the Barbarian. You have...
Wait, you said alphabetical, you're already missing one.
Oh, right, an Artificer.
Oh, see, I didn't even count that as a class. That's why I was like... Yeah.
Sorry, I meant the standard ones in alphabetical order.
Oh.
Because I'm reading from the book. You have the Bard, the Cleric, the Druid, the Fighter, the Monk. You have the Paladin, the Ranger, the Rogue, the sorcerer, the warlock, the wizard, and then the artificer and the blood hunter. So, yeah, it's a small list, right? So I just feel like we could kind of touch base on all of them, but we can do it in whatever order you guys like. Or if you guys have a list, we could go with your list. How would you guys like to do it?
It doesn't matter to me.
Do you have a list?
I do not, but I can make one quick.
I have a list, but I have a list for everything.
Yeah.
No.
You do not have a list?
No, I can make one though.
You always know the A students from the D students.
Hey, hey, hey.
Yes, we can go.
I think we should just go over all of them and which ones Devon shouldn't play.
Well, you said go over all of them.
Yeah, but
I was.
you missed
What?
the important part.
I know, but
No, we
you
didn't.
said go over
I think
the
you
ones
missed.
that
I think you missed the important part. Which ones
You
Devon
said-
shouldn't play? But
Yeah,
you said we're already going
Yeah.
over all of them.
yeah.
I still
All
don't
of
think
them.
she gets it.
No,
Yeah,
all
Over
of them,
her
Becky.
head.
Devon should not play
Yeah.
any of them.
That's what I just said. All of them.
Oh, never mind. I hate you all. All right, let's So, Becky, out of 14 classes, which one are you least likely to play? And
An
why?
artificer.
Okay.
An artificer. I feel like they're too OP. And I don't like that.
Okay.
And they kind of creep me out.
Okay. Okay.
why did I creep you out? Can you elaborate, please?
Like they can have like a little mechanical friend thing, and then it dies, but they can like bring it back or like make a new one. I don't like that.
Yeah, you don't like when things constantly die and you just make new ones, do you?
No, I'm tired of it.
So basically, you're saying the artificer is PTSD for you. Got it.
Maybe a little. Well, and I feel like they can just do so much stuff that I don't feel like they should be able to do. So like, what's their walking speed? Like 40 or something like that?
No, the walking
And then-
speed's based off of your
Right.
race.
So they get their walking speed, and then they get on their little mechanical thing, and then they can go even further.
No, 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 no,
That's
no,
just
no,
crazy.
no, 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 no. Back up. That was That was Brandon's rule.
That they can't do that.
No, that they can ride their that he could have rode his companion.
So is that not typical then?
That is not
No,
typical.
typical
Oh.
the pet is much smaller. It's not like ginormous.
Yeah, normally that doesn't happen.
Yeah, because I wasn't allowed to ride Hognoggin.
Well, Hognoggin was a hedgehog, so there's that.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Strong feelings on the artificer. Okay, let's go. Let's go down to let's save Devon. Josh, you're number
I mean,
13.
14.
14, yeah.
Right.
Jesus. Yeah, I'm still trying to wake up. I apologize. I
I
took a little
mean,
nap.
there's only one right answer for the lowest and least best class. That's a bard.
I mean, yeah.
You're
But
changing your mind after next Friday.
But I'd probably play a bard before I played an artificer.
Well, you're about to play a bard.
I know.
Yeah, so you'll have PTSD on bards too. So
Just a bad day, guys.
I don't know. And it's more so. I just don't think bards, like, they're not very good spellcasters. Like, they're subpar. Like, they get most of their spells from other classes. Like, they're not good melee. The only good thing they're good at is, support, and even then.
Okay.
They're bard of inspiration, huh, Devon?
I will punch
The
you in the
bard-
face as
Yeah.
well.
Yep. The bard of inspiration.
I hate you both so very much. Um. Okay. 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 So, Josh's 14 is let's go with Bard. I kind of seen that coming. There's no surprise there for multiple reasons. Um. All right, Devon. Brings me to how wrong you're gonna be. Go ahead. Give me that.
Mine's not even a offer. It's just me personally. I would definitely have to pick cleric. Because in my
Mm.
eye, I'm not saying they're bad class. I would play one, but I don't think I would play a good one. It's like I don't think me particularly, or I'm able to play it well enough to be able to keep my powers.
Okay.
I would end up being like Becky's character, who lost her pat, was starting to lose her pair. That would be me, like like session 2. Me personally, I wouldn't be able to keep up with it.
I don't know. I hear a little shade. I mean, it sounds like he's calling Becky not a good cleric.
No, that's
Oh,
not
we
what
all know I'm not.
that's just me personally. I don't think I could do it. Like if I had to, I will, but I that's one of the classes that would definitely be one of the last ones I would choose ever. It's just something that I don't think I'm able to do very
Okay.
well.
Okay. Good enough. Good enough.
Yeah, it's not an easy one to play.
No. No.
Oh.
A cleric is not easy to play. Not in Dungeons and Dragons.
Not well, it's easy to play, but not the correct way.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
I mean,
say
everything's easy to play. How to play it is a different story. That's a lot of spells and that's a lot of shit you gotta. Yeah. So I know I'm gonna get grief for this one. Excuse me. But I chose my least favorite class based off of number one, I can build a better one with a different class. Number two, I think the class is underwhelming. And yeah, I am actually going with the Ranger
Yep.
for my 14. I like that 5e added them as being spellcasters, but I can make a better Ranger as a fighter. I could even... No, I can't. I can make a better Ranger if I played a fighter. I could even make a better Ranger playing a Bard. You know, you get your D10, which is nice. Your weapon proficiencies, light armor, medium armor, shield. But you're mostly going dex here. You can go strength, but you're mostly going dex. But like one of the most underwhelming abilities in the game belongs to the Ranger, and that's favorite enemy. This is literally so... Okay, so this being said, I do have a caveat to this. Not that I would never play a Ranger, but if I ever played a Ranger, it would only be the Gloomstalker. Because the Gloomstalker is sick.
Yes.
The Gloomstalker is sick. The Horizon Walker's kind of cool too. There again, out of 14, which one of these classes would I never play? None. I would play every single one over and over and over again. Yes, Devon, even a Bard. But I would play every one of these characters over and over and over again just to play with them. But for me, at number 14 is definitely the Ranger.
I don't know. I agree with you on the only way to really truly go with the Ranger is the Gloomstalker.
Well, I mean, so just for shits and giggles, right? So let me do this. Let me look at this two different ways here, because I need to look at two different things at the same time. So, as a fighter, using my dex, up in my dex, at first level, the Ranger gets favorite enemy and natural explorer. At first level, a fighter gets fighting style and second wind. So I already have my fighting style. So let's say I'm doing a Ranger and I pick archery, right? I already get that +2. At second level, your fighter or your Ranger gets fighting style and spellcasting. Cool, you got two levels, or you got two 1 level first level spells. I'll pick action search. Right, not to mention that the fighter gets an ability score improvement almost every other. After 4th level, you literally get an ability score improvement every other level. You pick your martial archetype at 3rd level, which if you really want to cast spells, then you can go Eldritch Knight. If you really want control spells, you could literally subclass. But even just straight class, if we're just talking about straight class, your hit dice are the same, right? You get a D10 as a ranger, you get a D10 as a fighter. Except the fighter has all armor proficiencies, all weapon proficiencies. The only difference is the ranger gets advantage in strength saving throws and dexterity saving throws, where the fighter gets strength and constitution. I'm just saying, if I'm picking, not to mention like you get what like 8,000 extra attacks as a fighter.
Almost like every 4 levels you get another attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't get spells as a fighter, do you?
If you're an Eldritch Knight, you do.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're going from a spellcaster point of view. Even if I'm not a spellcaster, like the spells aren't that great that you get as a ranger. I mean, they're cool, they're good, but I mean, even your features, the features are very, very lackluster versus something that would be as simple as the fighter. But I'm partial to the fighter, and you'll see that. Yeah, you'll see that. Just saying.
Yeah, you'll see why I'm quiet about that.
Yeah, I'm sure. We gonna be fighting. Becky, number 13.
Probably the bard. I just don't like them. There's so many other better spellcasters, and they're dumb.
Okay.
Unless you play it the right way, which I don't think I could. And we'll all see that Fridays. It's gonna be a shit show.
All right. Josh.
Barbarian. I'm
Ooh.
just, yeah. It's more so I'm just not a huge fan of like melee classes in general.
Okay. Yeah.
Like unless there's more to them, like like paladin and stuff is higher up. But yeah, barbarians are just they're just kind of plain Jane. I do like the rage and stuff, but if you forget that you have to attack, then it's kind of then
Yeah.
you lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all you gotta do is slit yourself and you're good to go.
Becky, do we need to talk about something after this is over?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
Becky, are you a cutter? We'll talk about it after the show. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Talk about it after the show.
Guys, Dewdrop might not be coming back. She's gonna go get some help from a lovely sage.
All right. All right. Devon, what do you got?
So for 13, I actually have a ranger.
Okay.
Because, like you were saying, like I've played a ranger before, and then at the same table I played a ranger. Somebody played a fighter that was a ranger and ended up being better than mine. And I just, no matter what I tried to do to make it better, it just seemed like it was lacking something. So the Ranger would definitely be one of the low ones for me.
Okay.
Like, just I feel like there could be more to it. Be a little better at least. Like I know, like if you look at Paul, his is pretty good. Like his is really good, but not everybody wants to play one like that.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to your play style, right? Like, Becky's choosing mostly based off of how she plays. I'm choosing mine off of what I what I think would be fun. Um, and how likely I would be to pick it, just in general. Josh, again, I mean, one of the best characters in the game, and his is at 13 because he doesn't like melee, which is perfectly fine. You know what I mean? He just wouldn't play a barbarian. You know, some of the things on my list literally made the list because I played them too much. You know what I mean? After you play a character for so long, you kind of get burnt out. Um, yeah, yeah. And looking over my list, I definitely need to change some of these because I screwed it all up. But it's easy enough. It only takes me a minute. But I am gonna give my 13th. Um, but my number 13 because I just again 13 is because I've played the shit out of them. Um, one of my longest running characters was one of these, and it's an amazing class. And I think every party should have one, and they are super fun to play. But um, to me, they're boring because like I said, I've played it in every edition. Um, this is a primarily dexterous uh, individual with a D8, and my number 13 is going to be the rogue. I love the rogue. So that being said, and 5e's rogue is ridiculous. Um, and I think everybody would have fun playing a rogue. I'm saying for me personally, I played a rogue for like 6 years. I'm good. That's it. That's my only reason. Rogue is like one of the funnest classes to play, but it's time for me to move on. And that's the only reason that the rogue is that low. And I feel bad even saying that. Like it hurts me in my stomach a little bit. Um, if this was a list for like other people to play, it would definitely not be. It would be in the top 5. It would definitely be in the top 5. So yeah, I'm a little sick to the stomach even saying that. I feel absolutely horrible about that choice. Um, somebody just go. I don't want to talk anymore.
All right, Becky, what's your number 12?
Fighter. I just don't like melee.
Good girl.
I am not. I would be a horrible melee person. We found that one out. I was a barbarian. I suck at it. I'm so much better at spellcasting.
Well, it's not, you know, get the
You
cart in
know what,
front of.
Justin?
Let's not get the cart in front of the horse. I'm just saying.
Listen, I
She doesn't
never.
even have a horse. She has a hedgehog.
Yeah, that's the
No,
problem. You
I
can't pull the
don't.
cart.
I don't need to talk about him anymore. Listen, I have never died spellcasting. I've died doing stupid things.
Becky, I want you to think about what you said and. Oh, never mind.
I completely think about what I just said. And when did I die spellcasting?
Well, I mean, technically, as well, okay. Let's if we want to get into it. What was the dark elf's name?
Nova?
Nova. Yeah, Nova was a spellcaster.
Yes, but I didn't die casting a spell.
No, no, you
I
died. You. Okay, okay. So you're blaming the weapon, not the person wielding the weapon.
That is correct.
Okay, okay. This.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Okay. So you're one of those guns kill people kind of people.
No.
Gotcha, gotcha,
People
gotcha.
people kill people.
When did I kill
Yeah,
anybody? When did I ever die shooting an arrow? You didn't.
Well,
I think we have a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, this is just that conversation is a longer conversation for multiple reasons. I think. Um,
I can't help it. You told me to rip something's heart out, and I did it. Okay.
Oh my god.
I mean, why you would listen to me to begin with?
The pure excitement on your face, that was why.
That's why he has two kids too.
The pure excitement on my face. Um,
No one knew what happened except for Brandon. He told me not to do it, but when do I listen to him?
I mean that's true. That's true. Oh, okay. All right. Um, Josh.
All right, this hurts a little, but I'm agreeing with Becky. 12 is fighter for me, and it's more so. See, unfortunately for me, it is kind of the opposite, where you're like, oh, they can be anything. Mine is the fact that I mean, there's nothing like special about like they can just be anything. They can end up growing in any way they want, you know? Like it's a very like vanilla choice to me.
It's very vanilla.
That's very plain of you.
See, I'm gonna disagree, but I'll explain that when I get there. To me, saying vanilla, just saying vanilla is it's already it's done. So that's like to me, uh, a barbarian is more vanilla because you know what he's gonna do. He's just gonna go in and he's gonna hit shit and he's gonna rage.
Well, you see,
Where
when I say, go ahead.
where like a fighter, to me, a well thought fighter can go in any direction and grow in any direction, which makes him probably one of the least vanilla. For the simple fact that you can make him into anything. You can carve him into anything that you see, which is like the basis of Dungeons and Dragons, where the other classes are very set in their ways. They're very specific. A good fighter is still specific, but you need to make those choices at the very beginning, and then you need to run with them for a good fighter. You could get a
Yeah.
shitty fighter that can do everything, but the reality is a good fighter is the least vanilla, because you really have to think about your choices. You have to think about
No.
every single choice.
See, when I say vanilla, you have to. I'm thinking of it more like, think of it as a cake, right? A vanilla cake, it's good, but the mix-ins that you can put in to create whatever you use a vanilla cake batter to make a strawberry, a lemon, a lime, a chocolate. What those things that you add to it is what makes it special.
Right, which
Where vanilla is just where vanilla, I'm saying it's basic, where you need to decide a lot more of what you choose to be, instead of, I'm saying it's a great base, but it's the mix-ins that you choose that makes it great, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I still disagree strongly. Very, very strongly. Very, very, very. No, I'm just kidding. But then again, I picked Rogue at 13, and my soul still hurts.
Yeah.
I feel like I cheated on a girlfriend. It's bad.
I feel like I cheated on a girlfriend.
Yeah, like I feel dirty inside. Like it's just um yeah. Devon.
Okay, so for my next one, I actually have two.
No, you can't have two.
Well, when you hear why,
No, you can't have two. Pick one above the other.
it's
That's how a
literally going to be
list works.
Well,
That's how a
this
list
list-
works. Let me tell you how a list works. It goes 1
So
through
pick
13.
one.
Just pick one. And then you can
Pick
explain
one.
why after your next pick. You ain't jumping through.
Wizard.
You ain't
Now explain
special.
why after my next pick.
What? Sorry, I missed you. You're breaking up real bad. Say women? Women are your
I think you
worst.
said wizard.
Can you hear me? Is that better?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said wizard, and I'll tell you why after my next pick.
Okay.
I think I know what your next pick is, and you suck. I'm just saying there.
Okay. Yeah, 12 is where I'm going Bard. That being said, the Bard is growing on me a little bit. But it's still one of the characters that I'd probably least likely play. They're very support heavy, which I normally am. Just my play style. I am not support heavy. But you guys see that like 90% of my 90% of my characters are upfront fighters. So even my Bard, when we were doing the thing, he's going to be up front and fighting. That being said, I think the Bard has a lot of like utility. So if I was playing like an RP heavy campaign, I would probably be a Bard. Or a Warlock. Probably a Warlock.
Yeah, I agree. If it was more, if you played in a more RP heavy, like town setting, a bard would be great.
Yeah.
Because they have a good face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's very situational.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I at higher levels, bards are ridiculous. I just
You can survive that long.
Yeah, if you can survive that long. I do think they make good upfront fighters to a certain extent. You know, you get the rapier, which, I mean, that's pretty vicious, especially if you have a good one. You know, especially at low levels, you're hitting for what, 1d8?
Yeah.
But again, at
Get
lower levels, I'm a fighter and I'm better.
get yourself a dancing weapon.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. But yeah, I think yeah, I think that would be my choice there. So, Becky, number 11.
Barbarian. Just because they're normally up front.
Okay.
I just feel like they're kind of dumb. Like, like dumb. Like they're not very smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that's how I picture them.
More bronze than brains. Yeah, that's how they're usually portrayed.
Yeah. I I'm not a huge fan. I think I played one once. Didn't I? I was a
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't a huge fan. It's all right.
So in the defense of this character that you're talking about, number one, we were thrown into a pit that we had no business being in. And playing a barbarian, if you're gonna playing any upfront fighter, you have to be smart about it. I know it sounds like you're just gonna run in and start bashing, but the gameplay doesn't always call for just go smash, especially at low levels.
Right.
So I think you had a bad experience.
That's
That's
okay. I
that's
just
what
don't
I'm saying.
play.
That's all I'm saying. But no, Becky, like you obviously like spellcasters better than upfront fighters, which makes sense to a lot of people. Um, Even my upfront fighters, I like to have spellcasting abilities. You know what I mean? So I would understand how barbarian would be kind of boring.
Yeah, it's not for me. I mean, somebody else might play it amazingly, but not me.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, Devon. I'm giggling. Devon.
Yes.
Oh, he died.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Josh, number 11, sir.
So this is my reasoning behind it is kind of weird, but my number 11 is monk. But
Okay.
it's more so just because I find them very confusing. There is so much going on with a monk. Like, and I'm just like, I'm not thinking, I'm not mathing. No, give me a fireball.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see it. Um, I could definitely see that. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm kind of in the opposite. I'm in the opposite direction of you though.
Oh, I'm sure,
Uh,
but
um, Sorry, I just like quickly redid my list because like now like looking at it, like that ranger or that rogue thing really hurt my soul. Just so we're clear, I don't know if I mentioned that.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's rightfully so because rogues are awesome, and
yeah. It's
you're
just
you're the war you're the warforged of classes right now, Jesse.
yeah. I know. I just
Remember
and then yeah. I don't want to talk about it. But listen, if you play the same character all the time for years, I just need something different. Maybe in a
that.
couple of
Unless,
months, my list
unless
will be completely different.
yeah, except for the number one. I mean, but you can play that, forever. That's a different story. We'll get to that.
Yeah, yeah. We'll get to that. I'm not. I think everybody knows my number one. Um, because it's a fighter, obviously.
Nice.
Still,
No, no. Yeah, monk can be difficult to play. I remember the first monk I played, and I wanted to throw the book, and I literally picked it. So this is how I picked it, right? Devon wanted to DM a game, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna play something crazy, right? So I literally pulled the book out. I made a list of all the character classes, and then I made a list of all the races, and I rolled to pick what I got. And it was a Simic hybrid monk.
Yep.
which is incredible,
I
mind
loved it.
you.
Yeah, no, I loved
Yeah.
it. It was painful to learn how to play because I didn't understand a lick of it. Um, but after I got it, like my second monk was even more badass. But I'll never play him again.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I would love to learn to play a monk, but as of right now, they're so confusing. And it's like, all right, you spend a key point, now you get 20 extra strikes, and like,
Yeah, that's
cost.
it. Yeah. So the other thing with a monk is like you really have to think about how you're playing, right? Because you're not you're not doing barbarian damage. You're not doing fighter damage when you run up and do shit. You're not doing paladin damage. So you gotta kind of get up in there. Beep, I'm out.
Rosie Beestinger, like the
Yeah.
greatest monk of all times. I mean,
Oh god, I love her. Um,
Grant is awesome.
Devin, I'm sorry. Your choice must have befuddled me so much that I forgot to write down your number 12. What was your number? 12?
It was wizard, and that's connected to my 11.
All right, just give me your number 11 so I can hear this excuse.
Okay, so 11 would be sorcerer. There's I love playing spell.
Wait, Devin, you're gonna say they're basically the same, aren't you?
No.
Oh,
I'm not.
okay. I'm
Oh,
just
I was
checking
gonna say I will punch you in the face.
No.
because that's uncultured swine right there.
I'm real big on spell casting characters, and I've been trying to get away from that. I've put hundreds of hours into Final Fantasy. I've put hundreds of hours into Skyrim, and I always tried to stay away from using all the spells, and I couldn't. So far as I go right now, I am doing really well with staying away from this wizard and sorcerer. When it comes to spell casting, I think me personally, I think it's a little harder in D&D than it is in anything else. So I'm trying to me personally, I want to try and stay away from it because there is a lot to it. Like I know it's not that hard, but I don't want to fall into the same trap I do with every other game. Every other thing that I try and play or anything like that. I want it to be different. That's why I started playing D&D because it is different. Because it had more options and stuff like that. So for me, it's not a I don't like the class. It's more of a I'm trying to stay away from it. That's why they were together farther down the line. And Warlock's there too, but like Warlock's different unless you play like WoW or something.
We'll discuss Warlock soon enough and why
I
you're
kind of
wrong.
No, I get what you're saying, Devon. I do. But again, it goes back to play style, right? Everything kind of goes back to that play style. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, my list. So my list from 13 is literally just like from 13 up. Actually, the whole list is like, yeah, okay, we're playing tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be a ranger. It's literally just like shit that I yeah, I would play every single class. Right? I can't preface that enough. I
Right.
and number 11 for me, I feel bad saying this, but it's just not my style. Um as much. I would like to make one because I think they're awesome, but wizard at 11. Um it's just not my style. I think I could make an awesome wizard, and I will soon. An evil necromantic wizard.
Sunday.
Um, um, like even putting these like listing these hurts because like I just rewrote my list and I already want to rewrite it again because uh I hate judging them. But wizards are awesome. Um, I mean, if you think about Dungeons and Dragons, you're thinking about the wizard. The only setback to a wizard is it is one of what, two classes that use intelligence, which might be its strength too. You know what I mean? Not that you have a whole lot of intelligence saving throws, but I definitely want to make one. Uh, um, yeah, I mean they're very spell heavy. You know what I mean? Like um, even their leveling table, you're basically getting new spells, but you get new spells pretty quick. Um, but I mean, how long can you last, right? It's probably one of the harder classes to play too, for the simple fact that uh, you have a D6 HP. Um, you don't really wear armor. Just stay in the back, buddy. Um, arc, your arcane tradition is awesome. Um, yeah, there's a lot. Again, a wizard is one of those things. So Josh, if a fighter is the vanilla, um, if the fighter is the vanilla melee, the wizard would have to be the vanilla spellcaster.
Oh, absolutely. Wizards like the chocolate. It's the same, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Two sides of the same coin.
yeah, but again, the only reason that this is even that low on my list is because there are some that I really want to play before playing a wizard. That's it. That is it. My top 5 choices, actually my top 4 choices, um, I would just, I would, the only reason that they're there is because I would just be happy rotating through those 4. Like, I could live my entire life just rotating through those 4. Maybe 5. We'll see.
Yeah, I feel the same way on mine.
Becky.
Blood Hunter. I absolutely have no clue what the hell a Blood Hunter is.
Okay. Yeah. Um.
But I also don't watch Critical Role, so.
So Cirque is a blood hunter.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so no, that's definitely not a me thing at
Yeah,
all
not
then.
your style. No. I couldn't see you playing a blood hunter. No offense. There's a lot to it. there's a lot to it, and a lot of shit that you can get lost in, and it is rough.
Plus, you would kill yourself. I mean,
Yeah,
you would just be like, "Oh, I
honestly,
only have 2 hit points. I cut myself."
I could see you doing something like that, like with this
Oh,
character, because like part of it is doing damage to yourself, right? You have a hard enough time stopping other things from doing damage to you. You don't need to help it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like, oh, I need to cut myself a little bit. Oops, I went too far.
Yeah, went too deep that time.
Oh.
Oh. All right.
It felt good.
Yeah, Becky, I like your choice. It's a little higher up for me, just because I have some ideas for one. So, um, Josh, give me that number 10.
It's Blood Hunter as well. It's basically the same reasoning as Monk, but Blood Hunter is just kind of cool. Like I'd be interested in playing a Blood Hunter, but
Yeah.
my attention span is only as far as I can throw it.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, because here's my thing, right? Going back into D&D, um, my least favorite class was Monk. I was like, I'll never fucking play a Monk. They're stupid. They don't even have weapons. That's dumb. Uh, Spoiler, it's in my top 5. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah. None of these classes are something that I wouldn't play. I know I say that over and over and over again, but like I just feel bad ranking them. You know what I mean? It's like ranking your kids. Obviously your first one's your favorite, but the other ones are good too.
Yeah, I mean the first one has the most damage. So.
Yeah, it's done the most damage. But it's kind of like
It's usually not until the third where the formula is finally corrected, and that's why you get a girl. So
firstborns are always better. So Devon, hopping over, give me number 10.
My number 10 would be Warlock, but that's more of the on the line of when I think of spellcasters, I think of somebody that's going to have a lot of spells and be able to use them, and they have a lot of spells to pick from, but they don't really have a whole lot of slots compared to other spellcasters.
They don't need to when all your spells grow with you.
Yes, that is amazing itself, but
Yeah,
that
no.
kind of just kind of makes it harder for me to pick what spell I want to go with. So that's why that's only at level at my number 10. Like I said, it's another spellcaster to me. It's another, but I would choose a warlock way before I would choose a wizard or a sorcerer.
Okay.
But
All right.
it just
Yeah, I mean there's tons of
well,
reason that you're wrong, but
yeah. Well, yeah, I kind of figured that was coming.
just playing, bud. All right, well let's do one more. I didn't do my number 10. I'm sorry. Again, this just comes from playing them for too long and got burnt out. My number 10 uh my number 10 is honestly a cleric.
Ew.
Again, it's just because I got burnt out on them. That being said, 5e made a cleric a lot cooler than when I used to play. A lot cooler. Like you have the grave domain. You have the domains are sick. Almost every single one of them. It's it, it, I'm not a big fan of the cleric. I played one for again a long time. And honestly, it wasn't even D&D. WoW or EverQuest killed the cleric for me because everybody needed a cleric, so you spent your entire game running around resin people from different places, and it just got
Yeah.
annoying. You know what I mean? So like, like the cleric class to me is just like, ugh, I don't want to do that again. You know, I
Well,
just see myself running over mountains, you know, chasing after a ranger because he wants to get his fucking gear back. Well, maybe you shouldn't have fucking died so far away, huh? How about that? Sorry, I had a flashback.
Or just be Becky and don't res anyone.
Damn.
that's not true.
Be the first one out of the portal.
Listen,
Yep, Becky.
at least I didn't kill the turtle because that's what I wanted to do.
That turtle would have fucked you up.
Oh no, that's what I truly wanted to do.
Yeah, and that is why you die. So guess what? Go ahead and cast that spell. That turtle would have messed you up. I have
Can't
a
you
feeling.
just be proud of me that I had some self-restraint?
Yeah, and eventually you'll have restraints, plural, little white ones with buckles. Which brings us to Becky's number 9.
A monk. It's just too much.
Mm.
I would not be able to keep track of all that.
It's like once you play it though, it's really not that hard.
No, I sat next to you. Nope. Nope. It's just not. No. No. They're cool, but I don't think I'd want to play one. Maybe eventually, but not anytime soon.
Again, it's not a spellcaster, right? It's an upfront fighter, so it's really not your style. Like,
right.
You've pretty much.
But they're sneaky, and I like that.
They can be very, 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 very sneaky.
And I like that. And they can do some weird stuff, which I like. But yeah, I don't think I'm at that point yet where I would be able to play one.
Okay. Joshua, what you got, buddy?
I'm gonna say Ranger.
Okay.
I mean, I do like them, and I think there are some cool things with them. Gloomstock and Horizon is probably my top 2, but I also like Hunter. I like the ability to volley and Horde Breaker. You know, they get a lot of like. The higher they get, I think the stronger that they get for like multi. You know, like, and they're also. I also like that if you are playing in like more of a forest or a terrain based instead of a dungeon, they're great because you know they usually have high stealth, they're scouts, and I like that.
That being said, I think they could be played really well in a dungeon as a scout as well. You know what I mean? It's just more of it depends on who's playing it, right? So if I'm playing a ranger and I'm in a dungeon, I'm the guy clearing corners. Right? I'm the one checking the door unless I got a rogue. It's going to be me and the rogue. You know, the rogue's going to open the door and I'm going to be standing there going pop pop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that the ranger, again, minus Gloomstalker and Horizon Walker, I think both of those are a really cool class, subclass. I think the ranger is a cool class. It's just one of the ones that I would least likely pick because, again, if I want an archer, I can make a better one. In my opinion. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there ain't no shame in that. Devon, speaking of shame, What
My
is your
number 9 would be a monk.
Okay.
I've played it before. It was just a lot to take in, a lot to remember, and I don't want to do that again. um, Now that I know, because it was like one of the first two classes I picked. Like it was like the second character I ever made. I made a monk. I was like, oh, I'm gonna try this. This sounds awesome. At the time, it was a lot to learn, and I now that I've played D&D for a couple years now, I actually know that it was a good class. I just I think it would be definitely a number 9 for me though. I think I would play more of other things than a monk because there is a lot for a monk to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have trouble learning what vicious mockery does. So
Anthony, you're saying the ranger, right? It's underpowered. Yeah, I agree to a certain extent. It's again, the ranger is a strong class, but it's situational, right? So even a lot of the spells that they do have, there's a lot of really good spells that no, you're fine. There's a lot of really good spells that they have that are terrain control, right? But it only kind of it helps mostly in open areas.
Zephyr Strike is great, though. I will throw that out there. That's a good spell.
Yeah, no. Don't get me wrong. It has a ton of really cool stuff. It's just
Oh yeah, I'm saying that's like the honorable mention. That's
yeah,
probably one of the best. Like them just being like, opportunity attack. Nope, bye, bitch. Like,
yeah. Right, and that's one of the things that we were saying. The Gloomstalker and the Horizon Walker are two like crazy good rangers. But again, it's the ranger seems to be more situational based than any other class. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion though. Um, so I'm gonna give my number 9, and then let's take a quick break. um, this is where I'm coming in. Number 9 for me is the barbarian. Um, Again, it's pretty much just because there's other things that I want to play before a barbarian. Um, yeah, I think with all players though, I think it really comes down to the actual player.
Yeah.
It really does. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, back to the barbarian. I think the barbarian is probably one of the stronger classes, if not the strongest. Um, as far as going up front, you're taking if you're playing it right, you're taking very little damage. Um, you know, if I was to play a barbarian, I think it would be like a two-handed axe or two hand axes, like just wielding, just going through and just carving through. That's just kind of what I see. All raged out. Um,
Cag.
Locag, yeah.
But did he die?
Everybody died.
We don't know that.
Oh, that's weird. I was the DM. I'm pretty sure I remember.
Why? So we can never go back to that?
Nope, sorry. Y'all died. Your primal paths are pretty cool. Um, yeah, it's it's literally built to be a tank. There's no other answer to that. But yeah, they're cool. It's just I have other things that I want to do before I get there, right? Like the rage and the unarmored defense, like right off the bat, is like ridiculous. Reckless attack and danger sense, like you're literally built to just hurt things. And then depending on which race you pick, like it just gets ridiculous. So, I want to make a goblin barbarian. It's gonna happen someday.
Sounds awesome.
Or a cobalt barbarian.
Cobalt barbarian. That's funny. With that -2 in the strength.
Yeah, buddy.
I was thinking about making a fighter cobalt.
Yeah, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll finish up the list, and then we'll talk about what we got going on for the rest of the week.
Cool.
I don't.
Yeah, Warforge, a Warforge barbarian. I mean, to me, when I even think about barbarian, I think half orc. Like I can see them in my head, like a half orc barbarian just covered in blood.
You might spoilers here. You might see a Warforged barbarian in an upcoming game.
Yeah, I think they make awesome barbarians. But yeah, let's jump into a break real quick, and we'll be back. We are back. We are back. We are down to the last 8 choices in our class discussion. Um, so let's start it off, Becky.
All right.
8.
Paladin.
Okay.
It's a paladin. I'm not very good at following my gods. We've all seen that. And that you have to follow your god, or, you're just dead.
Yeah, I think 5e's made like some huge strides in changing the paladin up.
Yeah. Just,
There's
nope, not for me.
Tony, Anthony, there's 14. There's 14 different classes.
Do you need me to read them to you, Anthony? Because I know all of them. I thought you would too.
Stop picking on Anthony.
Listen, I haven't seen him in months. I have to.
Yeah, and I think with you, Becky, Paladin makes sense because, again, they're a caster, but they're more of a fighter. They're more of a... Yes, total of 14, because we're counting the Blood Hunter and we're counting the Artificer, obviously, the Artificer, but...
You should be embarrassed, Anthony. You should. Shame on you.
Shame.
Yeah, especially the Artificer. Who doesn't know about the Artificer? Right, Becky?
Number one, I knew what an Artificer was. I just didn't realize it was a class, and Anthony was playing one. So how does he not know?
He knew what the Artificer was. He just missed something else somewhere. Yeah, and that kind of goes along the lines of your choices.
Oh, he didn't count the Blood Hunter.
Which makes sense.
Me.
I mean, I counted it because I've done like extensive research on the Blood Hunter, and I think even though it's a critical role class, yeah, but you still missed 2 somehow.
Yeah, 2 of the base ones.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Which I can understand, right? Because when you really like, if you break it down, right, you got Warlock, Sorcerer, and Wizard are all very, very similar. Which I forget about them every once in a while. So I mean, obviously I know that there's 14, but, no, that's just me picking now. Shame. It's Josh. Give me that juicy number 8.
Number 8 for me would be a cleric. And it's honestly one of the same reasons for you, Jesse. I played cleric so often on most games, and most of it was running around healing stupid people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no more of that. Like,
yeah. You hardly get to have fun with the class when all you're doing is making sure that nobody else dies. You're like the class or you're like the group's babysitter, right? Like, don't stick your tongue in that. Oh, now you stuck your tongue in that. Heal. Resurrect. Like, it's, yeah.
Don't jump in the water. No, it's purple and it's bubbling. No, stop. Not that that's ever happened, right, Becky?
Yeah, I don't know where you got 10 from. It's just a number that's stuck in your head because it's a weird number. Not 10's not a weird number, but hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Can only focus on the round numbers for some reason. I get it. Yeah, like I said, depending on how you're playing the cleric. Now the cleric has a lot of cool um, subclasses um, that that can be played. Um, that kind of gives it that flavor.
Yeah,
Um,
and the radiant damage is nice, especially when it can be really high.
yeah, yeah. Um, I and again, like I said, 5e does a really good job of the subclasses and the domains and it really flavors the class. I think gives it a lot of diversity. Um, there there's a lot of really cool stuff. And that too, like if you play Unearthed Arcana, like personally I don't play Unearthed Arcana. Um, it's just yeah, they have some crazy features, which is awesome. Um, it it really like you could have, but that's what I'm saying. Like in 5e, where like 3.5 and stuff, it wasn't so much like this. But like in 5e, you can have a group of clerics, and all of the clerics be different. You know what I mean? Like you could really have 5 of the same class, but their functionality be completely different. Um, less so for like a band of barbarians, right? Until you start hitting those higher levels. But
Look at bards. We proved that.
right, like you can have an entire group of bards, so you can have an entire band, but the subclasses change the way the system is, the way that they work, the way that they think, the way that they do things. So that's why I like 5e versus uh, the older systems, even 3.5. Right, right. Um, Devon, give me that number 8.
Number 8 would be a paladin.
Okay.
Um, the only reason it's farther up the list than a cleric for me is because I could always go Oathbreaker, which would make it a lot easier to be able to run without having to follow a whole lot of rules or whatever my god wants or whatever. At least with the Oathbreaker, it gives me a little more option with it.
So
But that's only situational.
yeah, I totally get that. But the one thing that 5e and I'll talk about this because Paladin is on my list. Um, Paladin is Paladin in 5e is a lot different than most people think of a Paladin. So, but I'll get yeah, right. Just stacking subclasses on top of subclasses. Um, yeah, Paladin. A Paladin is a little different, and I think that idea still needs to be broken, right? the concept that people see a paladin as versus what it actually is in 5e is a lot different. So, but I'll talk about that when I get to the paladin. So for my number 8, that's where I'm going with Blood Hunter. Because I did a decent amount of research on the Blood Hunter. Depending on how you want to play the Blood Hunter is the thing, right? It's kind of like a mix between like I don't know. It's like a caster fighter warlocky thing. But you get that nice bulky D10 for your health. You know, medium armor, up to medium armor, simple weapons and martial weapons. Your saving throws are dexterity and intelligence, which, you know, to me, I would then just assume that you're gonna go Dexy. You know, you get your Maledicts, which is kind of warlocky. You don't get your fighting style until 2nd level, which is very fightery. But I think where it really steps up is the orders, right? So the orders are a lot different. Like, they're completely different from one another. Like, you have the Order of the Ghost Slayer, which is pretty cool. You have the Mutant, which is crazy. And then you have my favorite, and this is the one that I wanted to play, the Order of the Lycan. I still want to be a fucking werewolf. Or like a were-tiger or something, you know what I mean? Like something cool. But yeah, I like Blood Hunter to me is a very, very, very interesting concept. And I have yet to see anybody play a Blood Hunter like I would play it, and I don't think that we've seen very many people play it to its furthest extent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm very interested in the blood hunter class. There's just I want to do a lot more research before I even come up with a character for it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm very interested in it.
Yeah.
Listen, Michael, go to bed.
So I mean, Cirque did a pretty good job with it, and he was excuse me, he was the Order of the Mutant. But there's definitely some cool stuff you can do. Cool stuff you can do with that, I think. So yeah, that's gonna be my number 8. Becky.
My number 7 would be a warlock.
Okay.
I don't know. They're interesting, but a lot. It's a lot to keep account of.
Yeah, I mean, I think me personally, I think that the warlock is like a caster, depending on which one you pick. A caster on easy mode, right? Because you're not changing a whole lot, and you're just adding to the few spells that you do get, and your spells are kind of growing with you. Where like a cleric, you get 3,000 spells, and you got to pick new ones every day. The warlock is very centered as a caster. You know what I mean?
Right. And I like to be able to have somewhat of a free range of what I'm doing that day, depending on the situation we're going into.
Yeah, and I that's the thing too. Like I don't see the warlock as a full caster class because
Look at Brandon's. He does a little bit of everything.
right. I think they mostly like depending again. It depends on that subclass, right? It depends on what you pick as your otherworldly patron. Where you can pick the right, right. I personally like the warlock because I think it adds like a different flavor to the ability of casting, but it's different, which is gonna pull people away a little bit.
Yeah, like I would definitely play one,
Yeah,
but it's definitely not like my number one go-to.
yeah, yeah. I also, um, you know, that's one that you got to kind of start planning out at the very beginning, right? Because every choice you make is going to be um, every choice that you make is going to be based off of what you picked earlier.
Which shouldn't be hard for me considering I'm a murder hobo every single time.
It's true.
You know what though? You know what though? With Dewdrop, I am not a murder hobo. It's really freaking weird.
Yeah, I like to do drop.
I mean, you rip teeth and stuff out of people. Like,
Yeah, she's just weird. She's not a murder hobo though.
no, but you wanted to kill and chop off the head of the homeless man in the cart.
Yeah, that's just so she could talk to a head.
Yeah, that had to do with my bracelet. Man, you're never gonna get to rip my teeth out. How's that make you feel?
Oh, I'll still get it done.
And let's be honest, the biggest thing with the warlock is even though you don't have a whole lot of spells, you get your spell slots back at a short rest.
Yeah, that's true.
You only need one spell.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go like balls to the wall, like Eldritch Blast, and
Eldritch Blast is all you need.
you know what I mean? Like, you summon a weapon and Eldritch Blast everything. That's yeah, and that's where it comes in, right? Because you're picking your patron. You're picking your patron right off the bat, so you already have to have a choice. You already have to make that choice, and you already need to figure out where you're headed. I think a warlock, if well played, well planned out, is ridiculous. I think, personally. Josh, what do you got at number 7?
Number 7. I have a rogue, uncanny dodge. I do like rogues. Rogues are probably one of the like melee style classes that I really like. Plus, arcane trickster is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, rogues. I love rogues. It's just I don't want to play one for quite some time. I'm over them. Which arcane trickster I wish I would have played though, so I could add some fun with that.
A Kenku arcane trickster.
Dude, this goddamn Kenku.
Thank you.
All right, Devon, give me that number 7.
My number 7 would be an artificer.
Okay.
Other than it's something I have like, it's different. It to me it's different, and I do want to play it. That's the only reason it's up this far on the list. I'm just
If you think a monk is hard to play,
I was just the only reason it's not closer to the top is because it does look very complicated. But like I said about the monk earlier, like that was when I first started playing. I'm pretty sure I could get a monk pretty much well down now. If it would be the second time I've played one or a third time I played one, and I'm pretty sure an artificial would be the same way. But I am very intrigued with artificers, and I do want to try one eventually.
yeah, yeah. It's on my list. It's on my list. Obviously, everything's on my list, but
I'll say everything's on the list.
it's on the list. It's coming up. For me, and this is simply because it's probably one that I would play kind of once or twice, and I'd kind of be good with it. Only because I don't know. The mechanics are cool. It's different. Yeah, you just roll stupid stats is the problem, Anthony. Every single time you just roll like natural. You might as well just roll 20s and just get crits every time.
Not this Sunday, he will not.
No, I'm really waiting for Anthony to roll like a character that's like baseline 10. This is probably like one of the my least favorite casters. But I haven't played one yet, so I want to try. Because the meta magic is awesome. Just the spellcasting for this one. The spellcasting for this one is different. It's a lot different. Which I'm obviously speaking of the sorcerer for my number 7.
Do it.
Yeah, I mean the concept's cool. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with this class. There's a lot of charisma based classes, so you can do some cool stuff with multi-classing. But yeah, so your meta magic is ridiculous. Also, let me see, right off the bat, Sorcerer's Origin.
Fireball.
I didn't ask how big the room was. I said fireball.
Yeah, right.
always the answer.
Yeah, so it's just a different way of spellcasting that I think is cool and different. And just the idea, like from an RP standpoint, like, your wizard has to study. Your sorcerer's just kind of like, oh yeah, that's cute. You know what I mean? Like, I would want to play a sorcerer with a wizard the in the group and just make fun of the wizard.
Get a sorcerer, wizard, and warlock. All three of them.
Yeah, like so your wizard's the nerd, right? And your wizard's the nerd. Your sorcerer's the jock, because he just has these natural abilities to do things. And then your warlock is the goth kid.
And Bard is the band geek.
Yeah, that nobody likes. Like not even the nerds deal with him.
And your cleric, the nurse.
Yeah, school nurse. Yeah, sorcerer, number 7. I do want to play one soon because yeah, I think it'd be fun. Let's jump over to Becky's number 6.
Wizard.
Yeah.
I really want to play one. Really want to play one.
Yeah, I think they would be fun. Again, like we were saying.
I can imagine it now. Becky becomes level 5 and she kills the whole fucking group with Fireball.
Number 1, I was a I was
a
a
sorcerer that did Fireball a lot. She didn't kill one person. Yeah,
not one person.
Man.
Anthony, I agree with you. I think that they did a really good job of separating the sorcerer and the wizard, just the way that the way that each of them are portrayed. You have to play them completely different, and that's awesome. Yeah, I think it's that going back to what we were saying earlier, right? Is a wizard is a really, really, really good base for a really good base for any caster. Depending on what you want to do. You guys still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought I lost you there for a minute. Everything went dark.
Oh, thanks, Anthony. I know.
I wizard though for me is probably one of my least favorite classes to play. But I'm not huge on casting.
We'll see, and that's where you and I completely differ, because I'm huge on casting.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, Becky, like our lists are like almost the same inverted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like the further up I go on my list, the less spells I'm casting. Not totally, but yeah, I would like to play a wizard too. I really want to play a necromancer. Like full on necro. Philiac. Mancer.
I mean, Dewdrop's pretty close to the necro. No.
Philiac.
No. She would totally fuck a corpse.
Is it still warm? I'm good. Josh, give me that number 6.
Number 6 for me is Paladin. I love me a paladin. I love Oathbreakers, but not necessarily only Oathbreakers. I think it's a good mix of melee and spellcasting, a little bit of healing when you need to, you know, all around a good choice.
All around badass. Yes, sir.
Nothing says worship my god like laying my hands on you and then stabbing you. Um, so apparently paladins are based off of. Never mind.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, you did too. That was pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, Josh, do not put ideas in my head.
Great. They're there now.
It's gonna end horribly for everybody.
Sounds pretty great.
Yep, not touching that one. Let's move on. Devon.
What are we on? 6?
6.
Yeah. For number 6, it would be a blood hunter for me. Like I said earlier, it's a class that does intrigue me. I am in the middle of trying to come up with a good character for it, and it's one of those classes that's a mix. It's almost like a paladin, and maybe it has a mix of everything. It's got some spells. It's got hand to hand. It's got range. It's got a little bit of everything. Um, and it's just quite intriguing to me. I just uh, for it to be a class that was actually legitly like homebrewed from a group of people, and the company who made the game was like, "Hey, I like this. We should just run with it, see what we can." And it's a big thing. That's actually pretty cool. They don't do that very often in a lot of games, and that's probably one of the reasons why it intrigues me the most. Minus the fact that hurt yourself to hurt other people. What the fuck is that? Kind of sounds like an emo kid. So it makes me want to play a different type of character than I normally would, like by far. So
So it'll be high school all over again.
oh no, high school. I was picked on in high school. You could believe that, huh? You would never believe that.
No.
Is my my
I
question is that where it started? Was it
What?
only high school that it started?
I was picked on the first year of high school. After that, I was good. No,
Well, just so you know, it was homeschooled.
Yeah.
yeah, I was hoping. The older kids made fun of me all the time,
Just him in a mirror. You're a dick. Um.
and
It was actually just his parents.
it's fucked up.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jesse.
I'll
Yes.
definitely have to stick with that blood hunter.
Jesse's frozen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like that frozen face.
Well, everything went down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
What the hell happened?
everything went down. He'll be back.
Are you guys there?
Hopefully.
The fuck?
Excuse me, there is a message for you.